Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk. I am Shekhar Gupta at the Art of Living Center on the outskirts of Bangalore. This, as you know, is a very busy season for both spirituality as well as activism. And my guest this week, somebody who I could take the liberty, because he's very forgiving, to describe him as the rock star of both spirituality and activism. Guruji, Shri Ravi Shankar ji, welcome to Walk the Talk.
Nice. I always walk the talk, and it's nice to walk the talk with you.
Thank you. And I have to express my gratitude in particular because you had graced the first Walk the Talk 7 years ago. And
how is it going now?
I think you're
so many years.
You're something has worked. Must be your blessings. It's done all right. And if I may say so, you seem to have got 7 years younger since then.
Yeah. Yoga and meditation does work, no?
Right. Also, taking over other people's problems.
You know, if you are young in your spirit, that's all matters.
Right. Is that what, let me first of all also convey my condolences for your father's demise. Is that what you learned from him also?
Yeah, you know, my father was
86, I think.
Yes, he was very vibrant. Anywhere he goes, you would feel his presence. He would make his presence felt, and he would voice his concerns. And he was a great freedom fighter as well.
Right. So, so soon after your father's death, I mean, is this spiritual training that you were able to take it so stoically? You went to Haridwar for the rituals. Yes. And were immediately informed about Swami Ramdev's situation, and you got involved in troubleshooting.
Yeah, you know, I like to resolve conflict wherever it arises. I mean, it has become sort of my nature. I can't but stop. You know, as soon as I landed there, I saw that the Jolly Grant Hospital, which is very next to the airport, was saying that Babaji has been admitted there. And he was in serious condition. So even before going for my ritual, I first went to see Babaji, and he was in really bad shape. Then I completed my work, and then I visited him again and convinced him, and thank God it worked.
Well, I mean, nobody can say no to you ultimately, but you know, tell us mere mortals a little bit more about how you can put aside your grief so quickly. And you saw this as duty.
Correct.
That you have to intervene in the situation, Swami Ramdev's situation. So how do you set aside your grief and get involved in duty?
You know, that is what spirituality does to you. You know, when you are in touch with the center core of your existence, the self. I'm not the body, I'm the light, I'm the consciousness. Then grief doesn't touch you at all. You would see that happening not just with me, millions of people here. And the day Pidaji expired, and there was like it was like celebration. People were there deep in meditation, and then they were singing. And this is the beauty of this land, especially. You know, we don't mourn the death. In this country, we celebrate even the death. If you see any dead body being carried on, they do with all the drums and
particularly for very old people who
old people, particularly the old people. The rituals are such that it takes you out of grief.
Right. So tell us a bit more about what happened. Did Swami Ramdev sound very adamant when you met him?
Of course, as he has always been very adamant. He was not going to give up the fast. And I told him, look, I may look younger, but I am elder to you, so you have to listen to me. He used to say, you are my elder brother, and आप हमारे बड़े भाई है कहते थे. मैंने कहा, आप हमको कहते हैं आप मेरा बड़े भाई हो, तो आप हमारी बात मानिए, मानना चाहिए आपको, छोड़िए हट. तो उन्होंने माना.
लेकिन हट तो छोड़ी, but what is your view on his hut? Was it a big hasty, his action? When one man is already sitting on a fast and something is going on?
Yeah, and many things we are very different. He has a different style of working, and of course I am also against corruption. I very much want the black money to come back to the country, but my ways of working is much different. But the cause being very good cause, and we said we all support the cause of stopping the corruption. This anti-corruption movement, we all together brought it up, you know. Anna Hazare ji, myself, Arvind Kejriwal, Swami Ramdev ji, we all wanted to.
How did you first get in touch, come in touch? Because you are all diverse people.
Correct. No, this is the call of the people, you see. We are only voicing what we ourselves have been a victim of corruption. You know, to register a small piece of land or to get a little work done, without bribing, we cannot move a step forward.
Even Shri Shri?
Yeah, whether it is, I mean, we never did it.
Right.
We never did. We said no to it. Even if the work doesn't happen, never mind. We're not going to
But people
bribe.
have the temerity to ask you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't myself go to anywhere.
Exactly.
Nobody has there. But when our organization, our schools, colleges, which are running all over the country, we are facing that. You know, we have been facing this menace. And every day I meet people and they all come and cry, you know, say what to do. Whether it's police, it's bureaucracy, politicians, corruption has taken such deep roots. So people are very, very fed up with this. So naturally, there was such an anger when, I mean, thanks to the media, you brought up all the scams and problems that is happening in the country. It gives more impotence.
Right.
So it cannot be just one person doing this work, and the media, the general civil society and leaders and responsible people, everyone got together.
So how did 4 or 5 of you first get in touch? Because I said you're diverse people. They are not your devotees. Some of them are devotees of different orders and systems.
Yeah, you know, when there is social cause.
So how did you first meet? Just tell us the story a little bit. So that's a story for historians now.
Well, you know, the RTI activist Arvind Kejriwal, he wanted to come up with this Lokpal bill, and he met with me, and then we met Anna Hazare, you know. Anna Hazare, we have been in touch with him from a long time.
Right.
The last 30 years I know him. He's a thorough Gandhian and a man of very good heart.
Right.
Very committed for farmers' cause. You know, we have also been working with the farmers.
Right.
To educate them in organic farming. In Maharashtra, we are very big in educating farmers in you know, this sort of, and we are creating ideal villages in Maharashtra. So Anna Hazare has been coming to many of our programs.
So when did you first meet Anna Hazare?
Oh, way back. As I said, maybe 30 years now.
30 years ago. So you have known him since then?
Yeah.
And is it a friendship or equation or mutual respect that has developed over this time?
Yeah. He has also been coming and addressing our youngsters, our youth workers many times, and inspiring them about you know, sacrifice and working with the villagers. So this has been a long association on the social sector. We have never been into any political or absolutely not, and I want this whole movement to be apolitical, you know. That is where when it gets a little bit politicized, it doesn't fit me so much.
Such as what?
Suit me. I don't want this issue to be politicized, because it has to be an apolitical movement of civil society, of people coming together.
Where have you seen signs of politicization which may have disturbed you?
Like for Anna Hazare's fasting was happening, many politicians want to jump on the bandwagon and they wanted to take credit or discredit or whatever, or you know, the political parties trying to have a smear campaign against people who want to do some work. These are all, I feel, sort of giving a political color to it.
So fault or lies with political parties?
I won't say the parties, some people of the political parties, I would say. Not everyone.
Such as who?
I wouldn't like to name people, you know. There are people who make a mess of things rather than resolving it.
Kapil Sibal, Pranab Mukherjee.
As I said, I don't want to name
Usual
people.
suspects.
I don't want that's your job. I think you will do it.
No.
As journalist.
But if I do it, people will raise 50 questions. If Shri says it, people say, there must be something to it. So you are saying that politics can remain political, democracy,
Correct.
elections can remain political.
Correct.
But the anti-corruption movement should not become political.
Should not become political. So that, you know, there are people within the ruling party, in whichever state or in the central, I would say, who want to raise their voice against corruption. If it becomes political, a big section of people cannot raise their voice, though their heart is for anti-corruption
Because
movement.
that is the allegation now, not against you, but against Swami Ramdev and indirectly against Anna Hazare, that certain political forces are behind them. And that, if I may add, started with the presence of Sadhvi Rithambra at Swami Ramdev's stage.
You know what I would say, when a cause is common for everybody, doesn't matter what their backgrounds are. But if they are, say, coming there and using some communal agenda, it's a different issue. But if the issue, the agenda is only against corruption, I don't want to see what their backgrounds are. They can all come. Anybody can come.
But you see, when activists use language like calling government minister cheats, thugs, liars.
You know, there should not be unparliamentary words used.
Did you tell them that?
I always tell them, tell everybody.
But they repeated it yesterday. They've repeated it 3 times in a week now.
Yeah, you know, who will listen to me and who doesn't, I know also.
But does that frustrate you?
No, it only brings more compassion to me.
So Sri, if I may push the envelope on this, since you can count me as an old acquaintance, I mean, you know millions of people, but since we go back 7 years, do you see a degree of arrogance also reflecting, beginning to show in the manner of the civil society activists? I know Sri always speaks the truth.
You know, different people have different lifestyles and their behaviors are very different. So if you are getting stuck with what that person said and how this person behaved, we'll go nowhere. You know, when the cause is the prime thing
Yes.
in front
So
of you,
is this
we should ignore
Is
that.
this arrogance now, could it hurt the cause?
It shouldn't hurt the cause. If someone is behaving little arrogantly, and we should see beyond their arrogance. If their intention is wanting the bill to happen,
But
I'm sure it does hurt when there is arrogance, when there is egotistic attitudes. But what I'm saying
the
is,
cause should be protected.
should be protected.
For that, calm people like you are there. But Gurudev, have you have a sharp eye, you have a radar system for these things. Have you detected arrogance?
Yeah, you can see that arrogance, and I mean, I don't expect everyone to have an ideal behavior pattern. You know, when ego is hurt from one side, and the other will put a defense on the other side also. I don't blame them. I don't blame anybody for that matter. But what I'm saying is, in all these human emotions and interactions, if we are committed to a goal or cause,
Right.
we won't flare up with small little happenings. You know?
But have you counseled them since they listen to you? Although you said you know who will listen to me and who will not. But
I do. I keep counseling people. I definitely keep counseling people.
right. And have you also paid attention to, I mean, if you see some of these statements, one is the Lokpal bill, or Swami Ramdev has black money. But now other things are coming in, model of economic development, boycott of multinational corporations, suspicion of Indian private sector also.
Correct.
Then now land acquisition has come in. So this agenda is now becoming widely political, willy-nilly.
Yes, course, countries facing issues, many of these issues as you mentioned. You know, just sweet talk doesn't work all the time. You have to be tough sometimes too. And sometimes tough talk may appear to be of little bit of arrogance.
Right.
Or it may take a color of aggressiveness. But I would say one has to take certain tough stands at sometimes. It's necessary.
So, that tough stand would include a fast unto death?
There could be many other ways.
That's... No.
I would say I am not one for sitting on a long fast, if you ask me personally. I would say when you have to raise your voice, that's when you have to eat well and speak loud. You know, at that time if you fast, it's not like in British time, in ancient days, the government was very sensitive, people were very sensitive about a celebrity going on a fast. But today, it has lost that sensibility, sensitivity and charm it had a few decades ago. So today I would say there should be a peaceful demonstrations.
But a fast unto death, that you do it now or I'm going to kill myself by not eating, it also smacks of blackmail.
See, a sadhu did this recently. He was in coma. Right in the same hospital where Baba Ramdev ji was there. He wanted illegal mining to be stopped on the Ganges bank. It was the right cause. But see, it fell on deaf ears. For 6 months he has been in coma and he passed away yesterday. It was a very pathetic thing. So I would say, whatever works, that's what we should do.
Right. And
if fasting works, we should go for it. But I would say that, you know, when Anna was fasting, there were several Art of Living volunteers were also fasting. One of them was a diabetic patient. Right. And they were all enthusiastic. They want to sit and fast. I called them, I was abroad. I called that boy I said, I want you to break your fast and have your food, you know. Now. And he did it. Otherwise he would have lost his eyes. Right. You know, 3 days down the fast, 4 days down the fast. Right. I had to insist that they should do that. Life is more important.
Then
when life is there, all accessories can develop.
Because Shri, again, as I said, I'm pushing the envelope. That even when fasting method was used in freedom movement, you had Gandhi, you know, with due apologies. Nobody is today Gandhi, and Gandhi took a long time becoming Gandhi.
No, it took long time to recognize Gandhi. Right. He was Gandhi from the day one.
No. What I mean is for the public
to recognize.
Gandhi to rise as Gandhi internationally takes a long time and takes a lot of sacrifice. So, if not the fasting, what is a good method?
Educating people. You know, education and persuasion and make people understand the wider cause, the larger interest of the society. These methods have to be, endorsed. I would say corruption has 3. Yeah, I traveled 16 states in the last few months, and all I did was asking people to take a vow. 3 vows. The first one I said, everyone take a vow that you do not bribe people. If there is no giver of bribe, nobody will take. How can someone take? It takes 2 hands to clap. So first of all, the civil society, people have to vow that they will not give bribe. Second, I said all the officers should put a plank on their table. Our youths have done that in Karnataka and many other states. I don't take bribe. This sticker we're pasting on the desk of the officer. Second thing. Third is the political will. For that, Lokpal bill is being drafted. I don't know much about the law or the bill. So I request both sides. I request the government side and the civil society to sit across the table, iron out the differences, think about the larger good of the society, of the people.
But Shri, with flexibility or by saying that this is my law, take it or I'm going on fast?
I don't think, people like Anna Hazare would do that. I know Anna, he is a very amicable man. He listens and at this age, at 70-year-old.
70 is young, particularly for somebody who led such a disciplined life.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't think he is so unapproachable or he's beyond, communication. It has to be from both sides. Everyone should sit together, I know.
People around Anna Hazare don't quite seem so flexible.
That's your opinion, maybe.
No. So I'm asking you a question because you know them better than I do.
Actually, I know Anna, I know Kiran Bedi, she's a very wonderful officer, I know Rajat, but I'm not very well familiar with the other people who are on the...
You mean the Bhushans and...
Bhushans, I have not
Arvind.
had any... Arvind Kejriwal I know, he's a nice, young, dynamic youth. I don't think they'll go beyond reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And have you applied your mind as to what is reason?
You mean I have to reason the reason?
No. Can you Can you apply your mind in terms of what is a reasonable formulation for that? Because the main question right now, main questions are two. One, who comes under the Lokpal? And the sticking point is the higher judiciary and the Prime Minister. Do you have a view on that?
See, the main contention is, suppose I appoint a person,
right,
and I ask him to be in charge of looking into corruption, and if I myself is corrupt, he has no voice to point out my mistake. So that person should be independent. It should be not just an appointment of the government, it should be from the civil society, like Supreme Court, like the Election Commissioner. It should have an independent body.
No, but Supreme Court judges and election commissioners there is no role of civil society. Election commissioner is appointed by the government. But the institution has been given autonomy.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And I think this should be that way only.
But,
an autonomous body.
Shouldn't we trust one Prime Minister for 5 years or 3 years, whatever term, and then whatever action is taken in those years, he can be subjected to scrutiny afterwards? This country has had so many Prime Ministers already. Nobody has leaked this country's secret. Can't we have that trust in our system?
Trust is one thing, and making a system foolproof is another thing. If I'm a good person, I don't have to fear the law. Laws can be as strict as possible.
But laws can be misused by wrong people.
Misuse is all that.
Because, once you do this, law will be misused.
No law should be draconian.
Yes.
So, and unfortunately what happens, see, no system is totally perfect. There will be loopholes in every system. That's why experts should sit together, and come up some conclusion, and on the way to bringing that conclusion.
But Guruji, where is the time? If you say that by 15th of August this has to go through all parliamentary processes, otherwise I'm sitting on fastened to death. This is human bomb behavior. Pardon my saying so.
No, sometimes commissions get formed and they never happen for years and years.
Right.
So this could have been such a pressure tactics to have it done quickly.
Right.
Today you see the scams have come, so many scams. You never know will they ever be punished, and tomorrow they will all be let out. So that is all it is, and if it takes some time, or some time deadline should be given so that things can move faster.
So what do you tell Naxalites?
I tell them, leave violence. You want social justice, it cannot be achieved through violence or rubbishing the democracy.
So your antidote to Maoism is inner cleansing, and then say, don't rubbish this democracy, join this democracy the right way, and use this democracy to fight for what you want.
I will say, we are all with you. We are all with you. We are against corruption.
Now comes my trick question. how does that then level with Anna Hazare saying that he's rubbishing of Indian democracy, if I may say so, that Indian voters vote for one sari, 500 rupees and a bottle of liquor. Then yesterday again, Prashant Bhushan saying that just because people got elected,
You know one thing.
let me complete this. They have power because you know how elections are won. They are won with money. Is this rubbishing of democracy? Not rubbishing of democracy.
No, I have nothing to comment on what others' opinions are. One thing is, I don't have to agree with everything everybody says.
Right.
I honor democracy of this country. At the same time, I'm concerned that people are using this electoral system through money power,
Right.
muscle power. But, this doesn't work always. In Tamil Nadu this year it
did
didn't
not
work.
In
You know why?
West Bengal?
West Bengal it didn't work. Many times people give them money
Yeah, right.
and ask them to promise on the Gita, Quran, Bible or on their children's head, put their head and कसम खाने के लिए बोलते हैं. हम कसम खाते हैं बच्चों के कसम हम
Right,
आपको
right.
वोट देंगे पैसा लेंगे. मैं कहता हूँ देखो आपका पैसा आपको दे रहे हैं.
Right.
इसलिए आपको कोई पाप नहीं लगना है.
बिल्कुल.
पैसे ले लीजिए उनको वोट नहीं
और
दीजिए.
कसम तोड़ दीजिए. तो ये अच्छा एक्टिविज्म है ना. इंस्टेड ऑफ सेइंग कि सब बकवास है.
नहीं ये गलत है ना, गलत इस्तेमाल भी हो रहा है. देखिए शराब की नदी बह जाती है इलेक्शन के टाइम पे, ये सब गलत है.
लेकिन उससे इलेक्शन जीत नहीं सकते आप.
कई जगह जीत रहे थे. अभी
अब नहीं, जनता जागरूक है.
अब जनता जाग गई.
आप देखिए 86% आदमी ने आके बंगाल में वोट दिया.
हाँ.
और एक भी डेथ नहीं हुआ.
हाँ, कोई वायलेंस नहीं रहा.
So
तमिलनाडु में ऐसा हुआ.
You feel proud of this democracy.
Yes, absolutely. We are the most vibrant democracy.
So, what advice will you give the government now? How does the government deal with this?
I don't give advices like that. It will, it'll be like harpens in the air. So if someone wants advice, they come to me, then I give them.
Have they been in touch?
No, nobody came to me for any advice. If they come, I do give.
You have
The
millions
world-
of people looking up to you. You have a big event coming up in Berlin. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, it's 30 years of Art of Living.
Right.
So we thought where we would have a celebration. It's a sort of reunion of people from all over the country, all over the world. Then we said, okay, we want to do it in Europe, somewhere in Europe. Europeans wanted there. So we chose Berlin. And we are going to do in the stadium which was built by Hitler for World War.
Right.
The place where from the war has call for war came, we want to give peace call from the same place. So everyone thought it was a great idea. 75 years of that Berlin stadium and 30 years of Art of Living there, trying to bring people from all over the world with one cause of uniting them as a family, giving that new vision of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
The entire world is a family.
World is a family. The
Right.
whole world is a family. So there are people from all over the world coming and having a cultural program. For the first time ever, we'll be having 30 pianos playing together in one place. And you have people from Canadian Aboriginals, native Canadians coming and singing, Australia, Mongolia, from Japan, and big troop from India is going.
The remarkable thing you've done, I'm very ignorant about these things, you know that, is how you balance life, spirituality and religion. Because there is spirituality, but there's no temple on this campus, I believe, to a god or to some gods. How do you balance it?
See, spirituality is the essence of all religions. It's where everyone can meet. In Hinduism we have so many sects.
Right.
So many sects. There was one Jesus and there are 72 sects of Christianity. One Buddha, 32 sects of Buddhism.
Right.
One Prophet Muhammad, there are Shias, Sunni, Ahmadiyyas and so many. On religious level there will be differences. See here we have the Vedic ceremonies happening, yagyas happening. Of course we have all the pujas do happen, weddings happen. We don't deny religion.
Right.
Religion has its place.
You don't deny religion and you don't call yourself God.
Correct. We are all made up of a substance
Unlike
called
some of the
God.
others who call themselves Bhagwan and...
This is an ancient Vedanta that says God is not up there, He is in your heart.
Right.
He is in you.
Right.
If I am God, you are also God.
Right.
He and she, everyone is a God. The trees are, God is love, and the whole creation is made up of love. Made up of that consciousness. And that is the message, but it has been wrongly interpreted and used. Said only I am God, nothing else is God. That is wrong.
All this wisdom which has been sort of accumulated over centuries and centuries, you are the repository of a lot of it. How will you use it now to bring some sanity back into this discussion? Because this could spin out of control.
You know, Shekhar, it's like when something is growing, there will be many development. The formative troubles do come. But if everyone is focused on the result, what is that they want to get from this, you will succeed. You can't expect a road to be so smooth throughout.
So what will
Some rough moments do come.
What will your advice to Anna Hazare be now, given that you have a different view on fast unto death?
No, I will sit and talk to him on all that, yeah. Sit and talk to him.
How involved has Art of Living been with India Against Corruption, the movement?
It's one of the things that Art of Living has been doing. Art of Living is engaged in so many social projects.
Right.
You know, we did the Clean Delhi and Clean Jamuna project, Meri Delhi, Meri Jamuna project.
Right.
It was a great success, you know, before Commonwealth came. We did so much work.
Right.
All our volunteers, about 5 to 10,000 volunteers, एक मोहल्ले में से उठ के आए, काम हुआ. तो इस तरह से Art of Living keeps taking, it's the volunteers who decide to take these projects and they carry on with the project. Now in Tamil Nadu, before the elections, they did the voter awareness campaign.
Right.
They went to every college.
Obviously worked.
Every college, every doorstep and said you should exercise your franchise, you should go and vote.
So if you can just do this, if you can get Indians, use new media, etc., to get Indians to just take these oaths.
Correct.
Not to pay bribes, not to accept bribes, not to vote for money, then problem can be tackled to a large extent.
Of course, of course, of course.
So is that what you're going to do now?
We are anyway doing. I've been doing this for quite some time.
On a larger scale?
Correct. Right now our focus is in Europe with this celebration.
Right.
Also we are trying to do some work in Ivory Coast when there is so much problem.
Right.
You know,
So much strife.
So much strife in Ivory Coast. In Sudan also we're trying to do something.
But
internationally.
right. But Srishi, coming back to the anti-corruption movement, you know, you now begin to see some authoritarian language. For what I may call as Nani Yaad Dila Denge language. For example, somebody saying, we'll pass such a law that nobody would dare to be corrupt. As if locking up the whole country in jail is a solution. The Chinese execute 2,000 people every year for corruption, including governors of their provinces. And yet, even on corruption, they beat us. They are higher than us on Transparency International scale.
Shekhar, as I said before, just laws will not help.
Right.
It's a social transformation that has to happen. You know, today there is more than a lack of orders from Supreme Court which government has not listened to,
Right.
has not implemented. Similarly, there are 30,000 court orders in this state itself which has not been honored. So, laws can be there, orders could be passed by the
Right.
court, but if the people don't
So awareness is the...
awareness is the key. Transforming society, transforming people's minds and heart is the most important thing. If that is not there,
Yes.
laws will be just lying in the libraries and in the
laws
books.
may become cause of more corruption.
No,
because
correct, yeah.
to get around the law, people will pay bribes.
Yeah, we'll do something. So it's just not the laws. That's why I say we need to have a spiritual wave in the country. A sort of awareness has to be kindled. You know, we did
And a
this.
secular spiritual.
Correct. Spiritual is always secular. It includes everybody.
Right.
See, we have tried in several villages. We took one of the most notorious villages, Kathiawad in Nanded district.
Right.
And that village had so many court cases. And when people sat among themselves, sat together, they withdrew all the court cases. They run a shop now for last 3.5 years. No shopkeeper. People come and put the money in the box. They take whatever they need to take from the shop. Unmanned shop. Just like you will find in Switzerland, somewhere else. Even today, even Europe is not having such a level of integrity.
Switzerland is a sensitive word to
mention now. No, but why I said Switzerland is, I remember when I went there, when I was a student, I saw the honesty there.
Right.
It was impeccable honesty. But today, even there, theft is happening. People never used to lock their doors.
Well, they are blaming immigrants for that, and you know there's a big backlash against.
It's true. It's true. See, in this village, what I was telling you, the people have removed locks from their doors.
Right.
All the locks are removed, and they all sit together every evening, do satsang. They sing together, share together. Their productivity has risen. Seeing this, many other villages, nearly 300 more villages have started to adopt that model. So we need to bring from bottom up the revolution or transformation.
Not just top down with the law.
Not just law, not just blame culture should go.
Yes.
You know, we are caught up in sort of blame culture. Anything happens, you try to point out a finger and try to blame somebody.
Death sentence now, Swami Ramdev wants death sentence for corruption. How many people are you going to hang? We'll be short of trees.
No, one thing I tell you, laws have to be strong.
Yeah.
Laws have to be strict and strong.
Yes.
So if some people don't work with transformation, at least with fear.
But are you for death sentence for corruption?
No, I'm always for transformation.
Transformation. Not for death sentence.
Not for death sentence. Today, death sentence has become sort of obsolete. All over the world, people are getting
even in India, although we have it, we almost never
use it.
So, Sri, we can...
lifetime imprisonment is good though.
Is good.
Yeah. But they also, if you see that person has reformed, they should be given freedom.
So there should be incentive for reform.
Absolutely.
So, Sri, as long as you have the time, I can keep talking, but I know you don't have a time forever because you have lots and lots of people waiting for you. Before we go, look back 7 years since our last conversation. What has changed in India? Has India become a better country, a worse country?
You know, you cannot generalize like that. There are parts which has become much better. There are parts which has become more corrupt. So it's both. It's like there is somewhere day and somewhere night.
But net has the country progressed?
Economically it has progressed. Right. But if you ask me, is law and order or peace is better, I would say not in pockets.
Not in pockets.
But in pockets, yes. When I see Bihar, it makes me happy, feel happy. See, in villages today, people can walk around, drive around without fear. Gujarat development is so good. I have been to Gujarat several years ago. Saurashtra was starving. Right. There was no water there. Right. And today you find greenery
like
there.
A green revolution country.
Green revolution. So, like this in pockets, there has been tremendous development.
Maybe West Bengal will be a success story now. Hopefully.
I'm sure it will. Tamil Nadu will also.
And you will keep watching and observing and spreading.
And we'll keep walking the talk.
And definitely not after 7 years now. Thank you so much for your benevolence and your patience and most of all for your smile.
Thank you.
Thanks.